We are failing our planet. Globally, animal agriculture is responsible for more greenhouse gases than all the world's transportation systems combined. The Earth is giving up. The human population runs on greed and excess. When will it be enough? Our ecosystems are dying. Our water is becoming more and more polluted. It is only a matter of time before we run out. Completely. More and more land is being reduced to dirt to keep up with the ever-growing demands of the meat industry. It takes more than 2,400 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of beef. Animals are treated as nothing less than a source of money. We are blindsided to our moral compass.
From the moment that the animal arrives, is killed, deboned, and turned into this package, how much time does that take?
24 horas.
That's it? You guys work fast. That's unbelievable. And 24 hours, they're turning a huge bull or cow into a product that's about to be shipped out around the world. This is a maximum capacity production line. Right now, they're seeing about 350 animals coming through every single day, but they are ramping up to be able to handle 600 soon.
How can we as the population allow ourselves to think that we are better than another life? How can we justify these crimes we commit every day? Mutations, disease, pain and death. Brushed off. The meat industry is more harmful than any other to our planet. It will destroy everything we know if we don't act now.
It's hard to imagine that all this used to be rainforest, but now for a long time it's been ranch and farmland. You know, if Brazil keeps producing beef at the rate that it is, this whole landscape is going to get swallowed up by this.
The Amazon is the largest rainforest on the planet. Continued deforestation would compound the problems of climate change by releasing massive amounts of stored carbon.
But all hope is not yet lost. More and more people are choosing to reduce and alter their lifestyle to try new meat alternatives, vegetarian options and vegan diets. We collectively need to educate ourselves and change our outlook on meat as a whole. Avoiding meat and dairy products is the single biggest way to reduce your environmental impact on the planet. We must all do our part if we want active change. No animal deserves to live their whole existence locked away in a cage only to be brutally murdered by man and machine. There is no excuse. Change your mindset, face the facts, look at what you're eating for what it is. Think about how your steak got to your plate. Register the life you have chosen to take away. Act together to save our planet. This is not just another advert. This is a cry for help.
In China, there are more than 33,000 Buddhist monasteries and about 200,000 monks and nuns. There are 300 million people that believe in Buddhism. The Buddhist Association of China has requirements for monks to live by, one of which is vegetarianism. The others are celibacy and to wear specific monk clothing. Vegetarianism not only represents a dietary habit, but also a practice derived from the compassionate spirit of Buddhism. Mountain is one of the 4 famous Buddhist mountains in China. Tens of thousands of Buddhists and tourists come here every year. Many believers will ascend using a unique method: 3 steps, 1 kneeling. As they ascend, they will enter temples along the way to worship until they reach the top. Vegetarian restaurants can be seen all over the mountain. They cater to vegetarians and tourists who come to try the vegetarian food. Shops selling bread and cake on the mountain without butter, supplementing vegetable oil for it instead. The menus of these restaurants seem to be the same as any ordinary restaurant, and some even have meat on them. But there are meat substitutes available for all dishes as well. For example, broiled eel uses soybean skin to imitate fish meat and seaweed as flour-fried fish skin.
吃素呢是为了一种慈悲的情怀。释迦牟尼呢对众生呢那个贪生怕死这个事情看得都非常的明确，所以说那个佛祖他鼓励大家不杀生，杀生往往呢是为了那个贪吃，有人呢是为了那个挣钱，所以佛祖就建议最好呢是不要杀生。
The earliest Chinese vegetarian tradition was for mourning, after the death of a loved parent. The children would cut off all meat consumption, eating only vegetarian food and wearing plain clothes, which is to show their benevolence. Ideas that are common in Confucius and Mencius ideologies. Buddhist was introduced to China during a Western Han dynasty, and the compassion of Buddhism is very similar to the ideologies in Confucius and Mencius. Buddhism later became synchronous with vegetarianism. About 1,500 years ago, Emperor Wu of Lang wrote an article on the prohibition of alcohol and meat named Duan Ju Ru Wen, which established the vegetarianism as a practice of the Chinese Han monk.
从佛教的观点来说呢，一切众生他都是讲究平等的。佛教就是建立在慈悲的原则之上，建立在众生的平等的信仰之上。杀人，是佛教里面不允许的。 而仅仅是为了吃而杀生，仅仅是为了满足自己的欲望，那就是很糟糕的一件事情。其实动物原来都是野生的，没有一种动物是家畜。
The Buddhist practice of vegetarianism is not solely for the purpose of not consuming meat, but also to stop the excessive breeding and eating of animals. It's not only considered a cruel behavior, but is also believed to destroy nature's food chain and stability.
其实呢，大自然它是有一种食物链的，在这些调节的机制当中，当一种动物的数量增长到一定程度时，天敌它会自动的去调节和控制它，一物降一物，一物克一物。
In Buddhism, everything evolves together. Nature has a corresponding reaction for every action. Overbreeding of livestock takes up a vast amount of land space. The cultivation of land and the disappearance of biodiversity are also main reasons for the large amount of greenhouse gas emissions. Although scientists are trying to urge people to eat less meat and more fruits and vegetables, people still have doubts about whether vegetarian diets can satisfy the body's nutritional needs.
吃素呢，对身体也有很好的效果。植物中很多蛋白质含量它是很丰富的。吃素的人，所以一般都不容易发胖，也不用担心患高血压、高血脂这些疾病。比如说豆腐，就是它是用黄豆做的，其中里面就含有大量的植物蛋白。
Eating a vegetarian diet can lower and regulate cholesterol in the body, reducing the chances of kidney failure and kidney stones. Plant-based food is easily digested and absorbed and can fully meet the needs of the human body. With people's increased awareness of animal and environmental protection, as well as a new understanding of health, nutrition and other issues, many people have chosen to be vegetarian due to other reasons than religion. Many are celebrities who have made being vegetarian a global trend. Because veganism reduces the carbon footprint, how can promoting vegetarianism affect local communities for the better?
So I guess I'll start with, like, I'm a meat eater, so you'll see I did some research on similar thing, and one of the things I learned doing that was just people have no idea about the impact of meat production. I'm one of those people, and although I still eat meat, it's massively reduced now. So I think in terms of community, I think just educating people to become more aware would be really beneficial. And it's just, I think, finding people that want to kind of do their bit for the environment, or whatever reasons. So I think for promoting like positive things for the community, it does give that sense of community. Even though I'm not a vegan or whatever, people are really welcoming, and it's just great to share stories and share ideas and share methods and ways of doing our bit for the community without having to be one extreme or the other. Only 29% of people think that agriculture contributes to global warming, so that's really, really low, and I had no idea. Everyone just assumes it's cars and like big factories and stuff. So yeah, I think just educating people in a non-forceful way can only be a good thing, and especially with the population growing as it is. There's a lot more mouths to feed. Meat production and meat consumption's forecast to like increase, so I think even just leveling it out can only be a good thing.
So, based on data showing how much land is used to grow feed for animals, how might switching food sources promote sustainable living?
Yeah, it's kind of answering the question a bit. But the amount of feed, just to feed one, I don't know, cow, for example, I don't have the facts, but the hectares or whatever it is to feed one animal, the same, I think it's the same calorific value per square meter could feed like a whole army of people, that it would feed one animal to then slaughter and feed several people. So obviously it would be more sustainable. Again, back to the population thing, the amount of land that we have available, especially with deforestation, there's only a limited amount of resources. So at some point we're going to have to reduce the amount of meat so that we, by eating crops and things like that.
On a global scale, how can a meat-free diet reduce the consistent rise in global warming?
Again, just the impact it makes. We're on a pretty negative trajectory at the moment, so by reducing our meat intake now, I think we'll even if it just evens out things at the moment. Again, back to population, the more people that are going to be coming into this world, and I've certainly noticed, I mean, I'm probably a bit older than you guys, like 10 years ago, this veganism, like vegetarianism wasn't a massive thing, but people becoming more aware of it are just, it's becoming a better thing. So with more people coming into the world, I think if we can continue that trend of educating our younger people to be more aware of what they're eating, where it comes from, and the kind of consequences of what they're eating, can make a massive difference.
What steps are we seeing being taken to promote meat-free diets?
Loads, which I love. And again, I've been part of that. So not part of it promoting, but a recipient, I guess. Just look at Netflix. I mean, celebrities, athletes are probably a huge thing. Like my brother, for example, is a huge like bodybuilder, and he's meat. And even he's like gone into a vegan lifestyle because, he's read up on the benefits of performance related to vegan-based proteins. So, Veganuary, there's just so many incentives at the moment. It's everywhere, and it's really cool. Obviously, supermarkets. There's a lot more choice. Just in general, I mean, it's a lot easier to be a vegan or vegetarian than it was even 5 years ago. I'd say. So that's cool, and people are getting more inventive. You know, and people like me that, although we do eat meat, I'm cooking a lot less with meat, and you know, I'm not, doesn't have to be a meat substitute, but just don't actually need the meat. So just yeah, it's just easier. I think people like convenience. It's kind of a battle between people want things quickly and they want it now, but also they want to be able to eat well and eat a meat-free diet as well.
How can meat-free diets benefit wildlife?
Obviously the lack of killing. I mean, in the UK we don't have natural predators, so I say it's one of the reasons I tell myself that I'm not a vegan, but like, we don't have any predators that would kill our huge amounts of cows and sheep and wildlife here, so we'd probably get at some point inundated with farm animals. But natural habitats, things like that, the rainforest, I mean, even just being in lockdown for this year, I mean, look at the ocean levels and the kind of benefits that we've had, or the environment has had, and animals coming back. And without the environment and without animals and their habitats, I don't think we're going to have much longer. I think we forget that animals kind of run things, really.
If we do not shift our diets, what may happen as a byproduct of continuing to consume meat?
I think we've already seen, I don't know if you've all seen the like David Attenborough thing on Netflix, but like the trajectory was like insane. I was aware of it, but actually seeing it on a timeline like that, I think it's a very dark, dismal place that we're heading to on a very quick scale. So yeah, I think we do need to start acting fast, if not just to level things out. But yeah, I think hopefully it won't be too late.